Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where you are. So welcome to this webinar, and please let me briefly introduce the new report, the State of the Voluntary Local Reviews 2021, which is entitled From Reporting to Action. So as you all were aware, 4 pioneer cities presented their VLR in 2018. And then ever since, the movement has grown quite a bit. Sorry, there is something happening. Yeah, no, my computer has blocked. Oh, no, sorry. So yes, technological problems. So there was a growing number of cities that presented also the VLR in 2019. And then we were entering in 2020, and it was declared the Decade of Action, which efforts began to take shape in late 2019. And as more cities and more action was gearing towards accelerating the localization of the SDGs, we were hit by an unprecedented challenge. The first cases of COVID-19 started appearing late 2020. And we know how the year turned out. There was all the moment with the panic buying and the hoarding that you might remember and you might have suffered, the mandatory lockdowns across the world, leaving streets empty for the first time in a long time. There was sadly countless human losses. The widespread use of masks, especially outside of Asia. Here, I think we were more used to wearing masks constantly. And then new lifestyle like the telework, some meetings, some weddings, some webinars like here, like we were starting to live our lives even more through our computer screens. And regardless of all these new challenges, a number of cities continue and local and regions continue accelerating the localization of the SDGs and committed to delivering the promise of the 2030 agenda and conducted a voluntary local review. So you can see here a map showing all the local and regional governments that we've been able to identify that conducted a VLR in 20 so far. So last year we published the State of the Voluntary Local Reviews 2020. And this year, we are following up with a new report which focuses primarily on the VLRs published in 2020. So the report focuses on the 23 VLRs that we have been able to identify as published in 2020. And it analyzes them across 3 different dimensions. First, SDGs governance structure. Then BNR and VLR integration, which are focused on Japan and the case of Finland. Also, the posture of the VLRs towards COVID-19. We thought it was pertinent to see how VLRs were reflecting the new reality. And moreover, we interviewed 12 cities and asked them what can the VLR do for your city to be better aware of how cities taking the VLR and listen from them going beyond the report itself. So just a few highlights. I don't want to extend too much. So it's true that we've seen an evolution in how the VLR is being considered. So it's going more from a simple report to see how the cities has been, where the cities are standing, to be understanding more as a process of how and bringing the VLR into the governance structure of the cities themselves. Also, through the VLR, cities are striving to make to foster horizontal coordination across different units of government. And there is another element, is they are taking a more holistic and integrative approach, which makes them as a very good policy-making instrument to respond to complex issues such as not only climate change, but also in the how to plan for the post-COVID-19 world. In terms of the posture in regards to COVID-19, although not all the VLRs included reference to COVID-19 because the VLR process is quite long and some cities didn't have the time to reflect into this since they were published in early 2020. There is a number of VLRs that includes mention to COVID-19 and how the cities have been responding taking into account how to support the most vulnerable people and those that were suffering the most during these hard times. And finally, we also wanted to hear from cities, and we included messages from the 12 different cities that we interviewed and saying what they want to say to other cities that might be considering or are thinking, shall I conduct a VLR? What can I expect from conducting a VLR? To also encourage them to take on this exercise. And finally, the other hot topic, which we have already mentioned by other panelists, is how the BNR VLR integration, which reviewing the reports themselves is a part that wasn't that much highlight, and there are signs that this is an area that needs to be improved. But also we have found that the BNR VLR integration can take many different forms. So how this support can work, it depends also on the concrete national context of each case. And we think that this will be one of the elements that hopefully will be more prominent in the future in the VLRs produced in 2021 and beyond. So just some conclusions quickly. So there are emerging topics. So one thing is how to promote integration towards better governance, both horizontally and vertically. So within the local government itself and also with different levels of government. Then a second issue, which I believe other panelists have talked or will talk maybe later on a little bit more, is the review as intermediate scales between the local and the national government, in particular, the emerging topic of voluntary subnational reviews, or VSR, and also the peer-to-peer review and learning to achieve a more objective review, and how cities can also work together and find partnerships to also learn to each other. So the VLR is a very powerful tool for peer learning, and cities can really see what elements are working in other cities and also what elements are not working. And it can help to build a community that can really accelerate the localization of the SDGs. So thank you so much, everybody. The report will be available tomorrow online. So tomorrow Japan time, maybe if you are lucky, you can even read it tonight, depending where you're in the world. And it's been a pleasure, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the webinar and you will later on go and download the report and read it. Thank you so much.